We had some little wheels show up for a miniature wagon for miniature horses, and we needed to go through and do a quick check to see if they were sound. My first check is to bounce them on the concrete floor, and you can hear the rattle. And this is why. You can see the space between the spokes and the fellies. These wheels are drying out. On wheels with rubber tires, somewhere there's a joint. And this is where we're going to cut the wire to get the rubber off. Typically, when wheels are built in the Midwest or the East and they come to this West Country, they dry out. You can see that they've even shrunk up in the hubs. So all this shrinkage has just added up to a real loose sounding wheel. So we're going to take the rubber tire off, the channel iron off. We're going to tighten up these wheels and make them sound again. In order to reuse the rubber tire, we have to get the wire out of the center. This is a round single wire style rubber. So with a little coaching and stretching it out like a rubber band, we can usually get it to come out. Now sometimes they'll kind of fight you, but sometimes, like this one, we'll get her to pop right out of there. Now one advantage of roller bearing hubs is they are fairly easy to tighten up. Now with the hubs tightened down, next we need to tighten the spoke tenons into the felloes. So as we tighten these tenons up, what we're doing is bringing the circumference of the felloes to a smaller circumference. I have 4 that I haven't wedged yet, and we still are showing spaces on the shoulder of the spoke to the felloes, but when we go and look at the end joints, we're together tight. So what I need to do is remove some of this. I'm going to take a couple saw cuts at the joint, which will in essence diminish the circumference of the felloes to allow the last 4 spokes to be tightened. If I didn't do this step, we'd have a wheel that was called fellow bound. All the pressure of the tire would be held on the felloe, the rim itself, and would not be transferred to the spokes into the hub. Tightening these spokes now tightens up the joint on the rim or the felloes. We don't have much dish in these wheels. There's a little bit, but there's not much. So I'm going to take another saw cut in the joint of the felloes and allow possibly for a little more dish to come into these wheels when I set the tires. Now with the spoke tenons tightened up, you can see that they stick out past the face of the rim. So I'm going to sand these down to where they're flush. So now we can reset the channel iron, and that's what's going to hold all these joints tight. And with the use of a traveler, I'm going to coordinate each channel with its correct wheel. this is what they sounded like before. This is what they sound like now. Now you've watched me in past videos put rubber tires on. They had 2 wires. This only has 1, but the principle is the same. I've had a few requests for a little closer look at my torch holder, and this is what it looks like. So we should be good to roll. Once again, thanks for watching.